Hey, my friends in Indiana, specifically Franklin, Indiana. This is your friend Jeff Yalden. My friends, the reality is that many of you probably will not watch this video in full. I get it. I understand. I have a lot to say. It is my hope that you watch this video, that you share this video, because what is a little bit of your time versus the cost of losing one of our teens? Franklin, Indiana, you've reached out to me now for the second year in a row. And this time it's not just the community, but some teenagers have reached out to me. My friends, my name is Jeff Yalden. I'm a teen mental health and suicide prevention specialist and crisis intervention expert that works with school communities all over the country. And I've got the greatest job in the world. And so here I am again. Your community has reached out to me, and I feel I have a responsibility to get more involved, and that's the purpose of this message. So I want you to allow me, please, to share my words and my thoughts. First and foremost, I want to send my most sincere prayers and thoughts, my condolences to all of you, especially the family, the immediate family, teachers, the friends of Mr. Christopher Wright. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. And whether you are family, friends, or teachers, staff, administration, coaches, church members, all trusted adults, this message is for you. I'm sorry. I know you're dealing with a lot. My friends, listen, teen suicide in our communities is so prevalent today, and there's so many questions, and there's hurt, there's pain. And perhaps many are losing hope and scared that another loss might be imminent. I understand. Listen, my friends, this is my work. I'm going on 26 years working in the trenches of the most hardest hit communities, stopping suicide, suicide contagions, preventing suicides, and bringing hope to communities that have lost hope. Bringing answers to the questions that many of us have. I answer those, the hardest questions that parents and teens want to know. I bring communities together to move forward, and I'm reaching out to you because several people in your community have reached out to me saying, Jeff, how can you help us? I know Indiana quite well, one of my favorite states. I love you all. But my friends, this just isn't my work. It's my passion. It's my love. And while my family is home in Myrtle Beach, embracing the hurricane right now, I'm here at one of my boys' houses in Huntsville, Alabama, and I'm reaching out to you when I'm suffering. I'll say it real quick. I am diagnosed with mental illness. I'm diagnosed with major depression, bipolar type 2, and post-traumatic stress. And so I want you to know this isn't just my career, my work. I live this every day. This is my passion. Like I said, it's my love. My foundation and I work tirelessly helping school communities, teenagers, teachers, parents. This is just what I do. I want to be sensitive. I ask each and every one of you to understand that my intentions are pure. I do not intend to offend or trigger emotions, but I know that speaking on this subject easily makes people uncomfortable, and I'm sorry. But this needs to be talked about. It needs to be addressed. And if you are offended or you don't like my words, that is fine. But just know that I care deeply. And I care about saving lives and making our communities better. I care about making our schools more successful and bringing social and emotional learning and making more and greater impact. School spirit, our culture, the relationships between these trusted adults and the students and trusted adults and the schools and our family community, the schools. And I know there's so many questions like, well, you're not doing enough. We're doing that. Listen. Let's stop. Allow me to address that, please. I will address that. But I just want to let you know I care deeply about each and every one of you. I care about the relationships. My friends, this is never easy to reach out like this, being from the outside. But at this point, I think maybe you need an outsider that knows and understands teens and how teens are living and the emotion, stress, and the anxieties that they're feeling. You need an outsider, and nobody has my experience working with teens, parents, teachers in school communities. So to all of you, let me start off with, I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart. I'm truly sorry, and my thoughts, my prayers, and my heart is with all of you. This video is not endorsed by the school. It's not endorsed by teenagers or parents. These are my words as a professional that's been doing this for 26 years. This is my heart to your heart as individuals. Okay, so let's talk. My friends, I know it's real early and it's hard to say this, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. But you all need to do the work that I'm about to talk about. And we all need to do the work together, selflessly, non-judgmentally. We need to validate each and every person in our community, in our schools, that whether you're a parent or not, it doesn't matter. We need to validate each and every person in who they are and what they do and how they work with youth or how they're a family member, how they're a teacher. That's what I'm talking about. And the work is simple. I think number one, you just got to believe that it's going to be okay. And to each of us as individuals and families, educators, coaches, churches, and our communities, accept responsibility for yourself and your close circle of family and friends. You know, there's three things I tell my audiences. Very simple. You wake up, you get up, you dress up, and you show up. I think that's half the battle. And then the other half is how you show up. That is your choices, your attitude, and your behavior. It's pretty simple. You wake up, you get up, you dress up, and you show up. You brush your teeth, you wash your face, you do, you dance, and then your attitude, your choices, and your behavior. My friends, yeah, I know. Hey, well, Jeff, what's this have to do with like mental illness or teens taking their lives? I'm going to get to that. Today's teens and our young people, my friends, they don't want research, statistics. They don't want textbook. They don't want to know what it was like when you were growing up. They want truth, today's truth, real talk. They want to know that you understand them. They want to know that you care about them. Two questions answered. In every relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, teacher, student, teacher, athlete, coach, athlete. There's two questions they want answered. Two questions, and these two questions need to be answered by first and foremost their parents and trusted adults every single day. You know, the most trusted adult in any teen's life is that the same sex parent. Do you realize that? But yet in all my work, do you know one of the most common denominators that I meet with teenagers? They say their parents are tired and angry. And so who's going to go to a parent or trusted adult when they look at you as tired and angry and they already know they have trust issues, they have rejection, abandonment, you're too busy, you're going to try and fix it, you're not going to validate their feelings. So right away, first impression, we're not answering any of the two questions. I'll tell you why teens aren't reaching out. Not just the parents, but other people. They say that their parents, again, tired and angry. You don't have the time. So Yeah, think about it. Why would they? Then they're afraid to talk to you. They're afraid to ask for help because they think that you don't get it. Their feelings, emotions, they're not validated. My friends, they're afraid you're going to be judgmental. And that's number one. You need to just stop, settle down, get on the same level, and just open your heart. Okay, listen, are you telling me this because you're venting and you want me to listen? Or do you want my opinion? And I'll tell you, rarely do they want your opinion, but when you're willing to listen and be supportive and understanding, the more you're going to find out. They're still not going to want your opinion, but I'll tell you, over time, they're going to start to value your opinion because you're answering the two questions. Can I trust you, and do you care about me? They want to know that how they're feeling, that it's okay to not be okay. And then they want your support and understanding. They don't want you to fix it. That comes later. But in the short and the simple, they want to know if they can trust in you, that they can reach out, and unconditionally, you're going to support them, non-judgmentally. You're going to validate them. They also want to know if you genuinely care about them, not them tomorrow or in 5 years, but them in the here and the now, where they live. And my friends, they live in the here and the now. That is where we are connecting with them, in the here and the now. But unfortunately, we also have to explain to them that life isn't in the here and the now. So, again, let's not fix their problems. Let's not try to. They don't want that. They want to be validated that what they're thinking and feeling is normal. And this growing up and this understanding is on their terms. And today's teens are growing up in a different world than we did as parents. My friends, I'll tell you, watch my TEDx talk. Watch it. And you'll completely understand about today's teens and 365, 24/7. They're constantly on the social media, the smartphones. I'm not going to get all into that. But these suicides today is not necessarily about bullying and cyberbullying, this or that. Suicide is rarely the cause of one thing. One thing can certainly be the straw that breaks the camel's back, but rarely is suicide the cause of one thing. 90% of the time, it comes down to mental illness. And I'll tell you, over the next couple of years, mental illness is going to have way more diagnoses than you can even imagine, such as gaming and social media depression, the dopamine effect. You're going to start hearing so much about this. But in the simplest form, I'm just going to say this. Coping skills, problem-solving skills, confidence, self-esteem, interacting, communicating, expectations, pressures, a feeling of I'm alone and I'm a burden. And then it's a habituation to physiological pain and fearsome experiences to repeated exposure to painful and provocative events. That gives that desire for suicide. I'm going to simplify it a little further. You know, one of the greatest statistics right now for suicide is 35 to 50-year-old white men. And as they've done all this research, and they've kind of like said why, and they looked into it, they realized that this population has so much trauma that they've never dealt with. And so like a Coke bottle, you shake it up and then you untwist the cap, it explodes. That is why today, and you're going to see this coming more into play in our schools and corporate America, we need to start dealing with our feelings and our emotions and letting kids know, and adults, parents, dads, coaches, you, I'm talking to you, me. It's okay to talk. It's okay to say you're struggling and having a tough day and you don't really know how to handle this. Because the more we talk now, the less later we're going to have to deal with this population. My friends, it's not okay to not be okay and to not talk about it. It's okay to not be okay, but you got to be comfortable wanting to talk about it. Let me simplify it a little bit further. Teens don't want to die. Again, they're living in the here and the now. And so they see the solutions to the problems so far out there that they can't solve it in the now and the here. So the pain of I'm alone and I'm a burden carries on day after day, week after week. And they get to that point, they get discouraged with never being happy. And so this is a form of depression that's called dysthymia. I'm not saying they're suffering from dysthymia, but what I am saying is very simple, that today's mental illness is much more broad than just a diagnosis. I believe that. What happens with never being happy and getting frustrated with I'm alone and I'm a burden, and if I'll tell you, one of the other common denominators I read in teens' journals and suicide letters, that if I'm not perfect, I'm nobody. I don't understand. So they want to end their life because they're not perfect. So we need to spend more time social emotional learning, talking about coping skills and problem solving skills and giving these kids the tools. But before all that, who are their trusted adults in their lives? And are they present? Are they engaged and non-judgmental? You see, I think we have a responsibility in our schools not to avoid the education of the well-being of our students, but to educate and inspire the whole student. And today, I think their mental well-being is as important as reading, writing, and arithmetic. I'm pro-education, but I also understand that today's expectations haven't changed from yesterday's expectations, but today's child, today's teenager, today's young person has certainly changed in who they are and what they're going through and in their maturity. And we have to change with them. And ultimately, our job is we teach young people first. The subject area is second. You might not believe that, but our young people need to know that life isn't in the here and the now. Life isn't all rainbows and unicorns. Life is hard. You're going to be rejected and punched in the face. You're going to be made fun of. Not everyone's going to like you. He's probably going to break up with you. I'm sorry, and she might dump you, and you probably get cut from the team. You probably will fail a test. You most likely won't go to Harvard, and you probably won't even make $125,000 a year out of college. Have time with your kids, parents, and teachers where you tell them your story. You tell them the story of your challenge and adversity and your resiliency and your perseverance, but how you pick yourself up. Speak with them. Value the time to be connecting and answering their questions. See, this is relationships. But at the same time, listen to what they're feeling and they're thinking. Teach them the importance of thinking about what they're thinking. Teach them the importance of thinking about what they're thinking. Let's stop them in the thoughts of thinking about the desire of suicide, making that forever decision based on 15 or 16 years of your life when they've got 60, 70, 80 years ahead of them. They need to know that tomorrow doesn't equal today's hardships, today's challenges, today's obstacles and struggles. Teens need relationships and they need trusted adults that are patient, that give them time and understanding, love, unconditional love, and that support them and validate what they feel, and that these feelings are normal. And then we have to give them and teach them the coping skills and the problem-solving skills I get asked quite often, Jeff, 26 years working in schools and teenagers, what do you think is the most important thing that we can give our young people? My friends, I don't even hesitate. I say self-esteem. But as much as you and I tell them, hey, they're smart and they're strong and they're beautiful and they're special and you can do this, we could say this all day long, but if they don't believe it themselves, the words that we speak, they make no difference. That makes sense, right? We need to give them balance and boundaries with the smartphones and the social media, YouTube, the internet, their Insta, the Snap face. We need to teach them that too much time is affecting our mental health and more social interaction is benefiting our mental health. The common denominator that I hear with all teens is their relationship with their trusted adult. Parents, their teachers, counselors, comes back to trust. It comes back to, you know, you're an adult, you're not going to listen, you have to. I could talk all day about this, but what I want you to concern yourself with is the dopamine effect, the social media depression, and the effect this has on teen mental health today. Again, my friends, I encourage you to watch my TEDx video. It's 18 minutes long. It's on YouTube, and you'll understand. But what you're dealing with is a very serious problem. And my friend, teens don't have the maturity today to scientifically proven, it's scientifically proven, that their frontal lobe, the frontal cortex isn't fully matured to handle the emotions that come with what smartphones, social media platforms, the internet, the Snap face and Insta, the group texting, YouTube. I think we've done our kids a disservice with this technology, but it's not going away. And if you learn how to use it with balance and boundaries, this is the greatest thing in the world. But I don't think we should have cell phones in our schools, and your administrators will probably agree with me, but we have cell phones because parents would complain if we took them away. I need to get in touch with my child. What if my child forgets their lunch? What if my child forgets their gym clothes for gym? Well, you know what? If your child forgot their lunch or forgot their gym clothes for gym, they're going to learn really quickly when they don't have it and they got a zero or they're starving. That's what we did. Do you think that maybe us being so enabling and so connected that we're hurting them? If your child is spending more than 4 or 5 hours a day on their smartphones in a 24-hour period, they're more likely, up to 70% more likely, to have major depression in their lives. They say the safe zone is 1 to 2 hours a day. Balance and boundaries. This is a parent's responsibility. Now, again, I'm not saying smartphones are bad, nor am I saying social media and the internet is bad. But we're not using it responsibly and for the reasons that we should be using what technology has given us. It simply harms one's mental health and has taken us away from the social interaction, which gives us self-esteem, problem-solving skills, those coping skills, the communication skills, and so much more, working things out. You become more empathetic and compassionate and understanding. And folks, these are life skills so important to the growth of our children. But what is one of the big classes that we've gotten away from when we as parents are growing up to the kids today? Life skills. Where does this come from? Again, I think cell phones, social media, the internet, the pressures, the college, grades, friends, and so much more play a significant role day to day, adding up to more and more pressure to handle, and our young people are struggling with that. Again, I want to repeat, I don't think, as a matter of fact, I know teens don't want to die. But I do know that suicide ends up being where they think the solution is too far out there, that the individual starts to think that they can't solve the problems in the here and the now, that they think they'll never be able to solve them. And if they don't think they can solve them and move on in the here and the now, so what's the point if I'm not perfect? And oftentimes suicide is a decision based on reacting on our emotions. But I'm going to tell you, I think suicide is a permanent action to a temporary problem, my friends. breathe, my friends, breathe. It's going to be okay. But everything is in the here and the now. It's not their fault. I mean, think about it. You text someone, you immediately get a response. You go to an ATM, you automatically get cash. You call your mom, mom picks up. We have Snapface and Instagram where you immediately get likes. And if you don't have enough likes, the kids are taking the picture down because they're not perfect. Not enough people are validating them. I can go on and on and on, my friends. We just need more trusted adults. We need more time with our young people, and we need to let them figure things out and to go through the battles sometimes. Life isn't right now. Life isn't a race, it's a journey. And it's teaching our children about patience and the process of going after our goals and dreams and trying to figure out who we are and who we are not. And about college, what about college? Do you think perhaps that we are giving these kids this false sense of success when we tell them, well, yeah, go to school and do good, go to college and do good, you go here and you get this degree and boom, success. What if they're not ready, or your plan for them isn't their plan for themselves? Why is it that only 3% of our high school graduates are going into the trade field? Because somewhere along the line, parents are telling them, oh, you're better than that. Really? The expectations are so great, but when they're not met, they're left to be disappointed, and they never want to disappoint you, whether it be your parents or teachers, friends. They don't want to disappoint themselves. Again, I'm pro-education, but our children are growing up later than we did 15 or 30 years ago. Like, it used to be 18, you're ready. Many young people aren't ready now till they're about 24. And yet they have access to so much that it's frightening. Years ago, again, 18, now 24, but they've got the internet, they've got all the stress and the expectations, and they don't know how to deal with this. And you're trying to tell them the success that was your way, but the success their way, because they're telling our kids they're going to have 7, 8, 9 different careers in a lifetime. And so you tell them to go to college, and then they get a job, and then they're leaving scared that they're not supposed to have this figured out. They don't have it figured out, but we're expecting them to have it figured out. My friends, it's going to be okay. And so you don't have to go to a 4-year college to get that big major degree right now. You can stay home, get to know who you are, go to a community college, just start taking classes. And don't ever let someone ever tell you that you are worth less, that you can do so much more. My friends, this is my work. It's never easy to hear about suicide or listening to young people and the pain they're having in their hearts with life. Life circumstances, life situations, challenges, obstacles, and so much more. Listen, I'm pro-education. I want our kids to get an education. I don't want them to have $200,000 in debt and they still don't know who they are, or graduate, they can't find a job, or they don't want to work in that field anymore. Again, life is not a race. Life is a journey. If you're good with your hands and that's something that inspires you, there's nothing wrong with working in a trade. And as a matter of fact, I'll tell you, in 10 years, that's where a lot of the money is going to be. There's hope, my friends. There's hope. There's counseling available to help you. You see, I think you just got to open your heart and trust in that. So yeah, my friends, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not know what you want to do with your life at 17, 18, 19 years old. That's part of the process of growing up. It's okay to just breathe. And you need to know it's okay, and you need to be willing to open up your heart and trust in these adults that can encourage you and support you, and they're non-judgmental. This is about the experiences of growing up in the journey. It's the learning, the growing every single day. My friends, it's okay to not be perfect. I mean, who is? You're expected to have it all figured out, really? Ask a trusted adult in your life what their plan was at 17 to 23. After a suicide or multiple, like your community, state you've been dealing with, we're left asking, a young man, a young woman with so much to live for makes a forever decision to end their own life by suicide. Why? How How does one get so hopeless or feel that suicide is the only option? My friends, our system is broken. It's flawed. Our youth are growing up in a broken system in America, and America has a responsibility. But I'm going to tell you this. I think we have a bigger responsibility because we are not a victim to the system. We're a victor. We have a responsibility to ask better questions. And it's not necessarily why me or why this or why that. It's how. It's how can I? And I want to challenge you to change the mindset, ask better questions, not just teenagers, but parents and educators. Get to know who you are. Be comfortable with who you are not. And again, I said the most important thing in your life right now is your self-esteem. Value yourself. And we need to value our children. And we need to support them where they are and where they're feeling. Because this is real to them. And we need to encourage them, make good choices. Your attitude plays a significant role. Your confidence. And my friends, just breathe. And when you have trouble breathing, just ask for help when you need it. That's okay. Slow down. Relax. It's going to be okay. But you have to be willing to do that work. Put the cell phone down, the smartphone down a little bit. Get involved. Do something. Be more socially invested in your school, in your family, in your community. And this isn't just for the kids. This is for all of us. But to my young people, I need all of you to know that you have trusted adults. Who is that trusted adult in your life? Answer that. I know it might not be your mom or dad, but is it a teacher? Is it a coach? Is it one of your friends' parents? Is it a youth pastor? Another thing, my friends, life doesn't happen fast like you're used to. Remember what I said earlier? This is important. That's why I'm saying it again. You text, you get immediate response. Your phone call, someone is always there. ATM and cash comes out. Social media, you get the likes. No, stop. Practice patience. We're all growing up in a superficial world, and it's having its way with all of us. Adults too. But adults, for the most part, have learned how to cope and process their pain and the issues that they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. You can't let this affect you. I know it does, and when it does, it's okay to take a time out. But when you react, you get in trouble. I have 4 T's I use. Take time to think. Turn your phone off. Don't even turn it on right away. I think this is great for all of us. Have some mandated off time. Call it a time out. Time out, no phone. I'm just getting away from all this today. And 3 things I think is really important for our teens today. And parents, you need to enforce this every day. Sleep. Our kids need 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep a night. And if your kid is ugly, they need more. Now, I'm not saying your kid is ugly, but maybe their attitude is ugly. Another thing, nutrition. Our kids are consuming over 200 grams of sugar a day. Yeah, than they should be consuming in a 24-hour period. More water, less sugar. Number 3, get involved. And I also want to spend a minute talking about my theory on suicide. A person feels that they are burdened to others, meaning that they don't make any notable contributions to the world, or they feel that they're a liability and disappointing someone. That's very real, my friends. They feel like they're burdened. They don't want to disappoint you. That's why I would never use the word disappointed ever again. Or a person feels that they're alone, meaning that they don't have any meaningful relationships. And so if this pain of I'm alone, I'm a burden builds up day after day, week after week, month after month, it gets so strong they start to have the desire to want to end their life. Folks, this is life. It's not easy. It's not fair. But I've come to learn that every single day we learn and grow as a result of what we go through. Yeah, that's life. That's where self-esteem comes from. So wake up every day, my friends. Brush your teeth, wash your face, do your dance, and walk out that door. Remember, your behavior, your attitude, and your choices, Don't complicate the big picture. I promise, on the other side of battling fear in life situations is self-esteem. That's important. And don't let anyone take that from you. You have to do the work, though. And when times are tough, or you're not thinking clearly, feeling emotion, it's okay to take a time out and ask for help. Professional help with a professional licensed mental health therapist, doctor. Just start asking the questions. Nothing wrong with that, but I think it's important that you have that mental health professional in your life. Again, I've been in counseling more than 20 years. I'm the healthiest I've ever been. And my greatest education has been my therapy over the years. Also, my friends, I was just in Ohio recently, working with a school community who's had 4 losses in a year. I met the father of the latest suicide. I want to share with you what happened. And again, 90% of suicides are preceded by clues that we didn't notice. Why should we notice when we aren't looking for it? Listen, the individuals that are on the school's radar aren't necessarily the ones that we need to look out for. Today, it's a lot of school communities saying to me, Jeff, we didn't even know there was a problem. There were no signs. There's no notes. This is the last person we would have ever expected this to happen to. Mental illness shouldn't be labeled and have a stigma that goes with it. Mental illness, or I should say, the mentally strong, are the ones that aren't afraid to ask for help. And what we can all do better is saying, I'm proud of you for asking for help. It's the best thing I've ever done. Best thing I've ever done for myself. Being a man that lives with mental illness is ask for help and continue to ask for help and practice self-care every single day as a priority. I practice self-care every single day. As a man that lives with mental illness, major depression, bipolar type 2, post-traumatic stress, I'm proud to say that. I've come to learn that self-care is why I'm the healthiest I've ever been. Self-care with therapy and with medication being given to me by a professional licensed doctor. My friends, I care about you all. I'm praying for you and sending my most sincere thoughts of health, happiness, and grace that we all come together in support of the family, Mr. Christopher Wright, of our schools and our teachers, our staff, our community, our young people, teenagers. I need all of you to be part of the solution, not the problem. Volunteer, be supportive. And lastly, I'm getting ready to end, I know. The worst thing that we can do is blame our schools. Put the responsibility where it belongs. It's on all of us. I think it belongs within the 4 walls of our house. I think most of our teenage issues is parenting. I'm sorry. And also, no school administrator is ever given a certificate on how to handle a suicide, and every suicide is different. Not that this is right or wrong, but every suicide is different, and it affects a school community differently every time. And so I tell school administrators, you have 2 responsibilities, my friend. You protect your students, and you protect your staff and your teachers. Everyone is in pain. Everybody has questions, and everybody wants answers. But what is important now is that we all do our work to make sure anyone who is hurting knows there is support and trusted adults. It's okay to reach out. We can't relive the past year or so and wish we could have done more or said something else, or this didn't happen and you didn't do this. It happened. I'm sorry. But we are here today. And one of my questions to each and every one of you is, who are we? Who are you? Where are we going? And how are we going to get there? My friends, forgive me, but I need you to understand something. We are not a victim to things that happen to us in life. We are victors. Life happens and sometimes it downright sucks. But everything we go through shapes us and makes us stronger, and we become better people as a result of everything we experience. It doesn't take away the pain. So today I encourage you and ask you that we show our love and support. You might not like it, but it's not our place to like it or not like it. Everybody is doing what they think is right, and what they think is right might not be what you think is right. But if we think about being part of the solution and not the problem, you can't fault anyone for doing the right thing. And so we all need to step back and look at the big picture objectively and be responsible for doing your best part. This is all of our issue. We all need to do better. Parenting, teaching, listening, being a parent, being a friend, being more compassionate and empathetic, being more engaged, asking for help, loving more, judging less, forgiving. But you know, one of the most important things, forgive yourself for whatever you have done. And so I'll tell you, one of the things we're concerned about is copycats. And oftentimes a suicide can trigger strong suicidal ideation amongst others. That is always a major concern, and we want to cut that off quickly. And so for all of you, ask for help. Students, please know you have a great responsibility in this. If you see something, say something. If you know something, do something. You are so instrumental in saving the lives of your peers. You are. It's okay to ask for help. And if you see something or think something, talk to someone. My friends, what you might be feeling today doesn't mean that it's your future. It gets better. I promise it does. Life gets better. Today is temporary. You will grow from what you're going through. Life. Situations, circumstances, struggles, challenges, breakups. This doesn't happen to us. But again, everything we go through happens for us. Yeah. Because everything we experience in life shapes us and conditions us. And we come out the other side and we're so much stronger. It's part of the education process of growing up. But I understand that you don't realize that now. I never did, and I'm not saying that to be mean or rude or... My friends, just life isn't in the here and the now. Everything teaches us. We grow through life's challenges and tough times, and we all have them. We all have a story. We all have failures and setbacks, and everything I've gone through has shaped me to be who I am, doing what I do. And so I've come to learn that life is beautiful because of it all. So the responsibility is simple, my friends. If we're going to have internet and cell phones and social media platforms, then our government needs to provide the adequate care for what this brings. Simply put, we're giving our young people these rights and these privileges that I don't think they're emotionally capable of handling, and the consequences that this brings without even knowing it leads to so many things. Mental health issues, depression. In many cases, it's leading to suicide today. Yeah, I think this is a parent's issue, and parenting today is a greater responsibility than it ever has been. And parents have it tough because I think you've been asked to do more with less time, but greater challenges. It's also society's issue and how we deal with this and move forward. It's also a personal responsibility to be your best advocate. That's asking for help, recognizing signs and symptoms, understanding. But parents, we need to be the best advocate for our children and their well-being and teach our children to advocate for themselves as well. Yeah, it's okay to ask for help. You don't have to have answers to what you're going to do in life right now. But you show up every day. And you don't need to compare yourself to your friends. You don't need to think about your significance in the world or what your legacy is going to be. Don't worry about that. You need to teach and learn coping skills and problem-solving skills. We need to learn self-esteem. Take it in. I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm talking about confidence. You need to value yourself. I think education as a whole, it needs to change. I think we need to focus more on social and emotional learning. I think we need to bring back those life skills courses. I'm pro-education, but I see flaws in the system. I'm sorry, but things need to change. But change also needs to happen first in the home. And I'm going to tell you, nothing changes if nothing changes. That's right. And that is on us personally first. We're graduating young people without them being prepared to jump into the world of uncertainty and struggles and the unknown. Yet our expectations, I said earlier, they continue to bring great disappointment. Our expectations continue to bring great disappointment. And then our kids think that they're a burden or that they're alone in this world because they haven't figured it out yet. My friends, we figure it out every day. When you show up, everyday lessons in tough times teach us incredible lessons. Grind through it. It's going to be okay. Yeah, pretty simple. I know. I want to just leave you with this. Teachers, thank you. Thank you so much. If you touch the heart, the mind will follow. And it's okay to let your kids know that you're struggling with this too, and that you're there for them. High five when they come in the classroom. Yeah, thank you for caring so much. Administration. Keep doing what you think is right. If everybody likes you, what difference do you make? Keep taking care of your teachers and your staff and your kids. My friends, young people, I love you guys, man. I'm on social media at Jeff Yalden. My website is www.thejyf.org. Listen, I'm here for you all the time. Young people, I just spent a lot of time talking about breathing, and it's okay to ask for help. If you see something, say something, know something, do something. Remember, sleep, good nutrition, get involved. Put the phone down a little bit. Ask for help. Believe in yourself, my friends. Damn it, believe in yourself. Growing up is hard today. Parents! Spend more time with your children. Don't be their best friend, be their parent. I think you'll have more respect down the road. And I'll tell you something, our kids want routine, they want structure, they want discipline. They're not going to admit it, but they want that. And to the Franklin community, to each and every one of you, we're a community. We're in it together. We care about each other. Our school, our families. We all matter. To all the friends and the family, and to everyone that's involved and knows Mr. Christopher Wright and his family, I pray for each and every one of you. I'm sorry. My friends, I hope my words can give you a little bit of hope. Lastly, I want to invite all of you to understand what the process of grieving is. Right now, we could be angry and in denial, and I get it. There's no timetable. But ultimately, you want to work through these feelings and emotions, and at some point, we all arrive on our own terms at acceptance. And then we all move forward. God bless each and every one of you, my friends. I'm Jeff Yalden, and I'm praying for each and every one of you.